So on this episode of Untold Civil War, I embarked on a journey to the seedbed of secession, Charleston, South Carolina. And let me tell you something, what a fantastic time, what a beautiful town. I recommend coming to Charleston to anybody and everybody. The town is beautiful, clean, and let me tell you something, I did not have a single bad meal in Charleston. It's got quaint little parks, beautiful historic homes, and there's plenty of plaques on those historic homes, dating them, giving you some history and some story behind the buildings. It's just a fantastic place with its palmetto trees, plenty of shopping. I think it's the only town in America, only city in America that has a Target literally across the street from Louis Vuitton. I mean, this is the type of stuff you see here, and it is the place, clearly from what I saw walking around, it is the place for wedding parties, bachelorette parties. It's just a wonderful place to be. I ate plenty of oysters, plenty of seafood, and of course had an amazing steak for dinner while I was there. It's just got great energy, but I came here on a mission, and that mission was, in my collection, I have an image of the famous Peter Hart. Police Officer Hart, Patrolman Peter Hart. He is very special to me because he was a New York City police officer, as am I, and he is the first hero of the Civil War. And you've probably heard me talk about him in the past, but I'll talk about him again. And just to give you some backstory, when South Carolina signs the Ordinance of Secession, Major Anderson and his command of 85 federal troops find themselves seemingly trapped behind enemy lines overnight. Now, for multiple reasons, Washington dilly-dallies. They're not so sure about reinforcing Major Anderson. And so Major Anderson's wife, worried for her husband, goes to visit him, and she brings with him the only reinforcements he will receive. She brought with her New York City Patrolman Peter Hart, formerly Sergeant Hart, an Army veteran who had served in Mexico with Major Anderson. Now, Harper's Weekly describes it as this: she had reinforced Fort Sumter with Peter Hart, a more efficient power at the right hand of Major Anderson at that critical moment than 100 soldiers would have been, for he was ever vigilant, keen, faithful, judicious, and brave, and was the Major's trusted friend on all occasions. I also want to say I can only imagine Peter Hart riding on a ferry out to Fort Sumter and seeing the USS Yorktown out there, an aircraft carrier prepared to launch planes to missile Fort Sumter. I can only imagine what he was thinking when he saw the Yorktown out there. On April 12th, as we know, the bombardment would begin, and Hart would distinguish himself by putting out multiple fires in the fort. But of course, he's most famous when the Stars and Stripes takes a direct hit and topples down. And under Confederate bombardment, he climbs up there and he nails the flag back up. It was a rallying cry for those beleaguered men of Fort Sumter. However, they would eventually have to evacuate the fort. Major Anderson would return to New York with Peter Hart to a hero's welcome. Hart would continue serving New York City as a police officer, and by war's end, he would return to Fort Sumter to raise Old Glory over the fort again, where it continues to fly today. The first hero of the Civil War, as his obituary would read, was not a soldier, but a New York City policeman. And I think for any cop, especially any cop that serves in New York City, this is a point of pride. And since I have his CDV in my collection, I decided the best thing would do is to return it to Fort Sumter and stand there on the parapets with this image right where he would have stood with Major Anderson at this huge, major critical moment in American history. At the fort, it's a wonderful place. The fort has a nice, beautiful museum when you go there. Plenty of little exhibits there. Included are several dioramas, which are really nice to see, dioramas of the fort, even a little diorama of the first shots being fired over Fort Sumter. You can also see the souvenirs that many people collected. This includes pieces of flagstaff, pieces of the Fort Sumter flag. You can even see, ultimately, this booklet that told the true story of the battle, and you can see on the cover is, of course, Peter Hart. Also, you can see the artillery collection they have here, showing the cannons, cannonballs, I should say, or the different ordnance. Really puts into perspective just the hammering and battering that occurred here at Fort Sumter. You also see a collection of personal items that was excavated, and so it gives you an idea into the soldier's life, the sort of conditions and what they brought with them at the fort. But it was so moving to ultimately bring Peter Hart back to this location, to bring his likeness back to this location, where not only did he serve during the battle, but he also returned to raise the flag back over Fort Sumter, and the Stars and Stripes still wave above the fort today. And I was there when they brought the flag down for the evening, and so I actually got to stand there and not only walk the walls that Peter Hart walked, but I also got to hold the flag, the Sumter flag, help fold the flag and hold it with Peter Hart alongside me, and that was just so moving. So here is a story of not only the beginning of the Civil War, a critical point in American history, but also the story of a New York City cop. And as a cop, it was a proud and very touching moment to be part of this. Mission accomplished. Brought Peter Hart back to Fort Sumter, right where he was when he raised the flag when it was struck by Confederate cannon fire. The New York City police officer, first hero of the Civil War, back on site again.